P. Diddy was just arrested in Park Hyatt Hotel in Manhattan on Monday night by Homeland Security, based on an indictment that was going to be unsealed on Tuesday. And let me tell you, it is so over for P. Diddy. This man is accused of crimes that I didn't even know existed. The federal probe into Sean Combs' criminal empire has been boiling for months, and it's finally coming to a head. But how did we even get here? P. Diddy is a music mogul that dominated the late 90s and early 2000s hip-hop and rap scene. He is undoubtedly one of the most powerful and richest music industry personalities in the world. He is credited for scouting and supporting artists like Notorious B.I.G. and is rumored to be the one to have put the hit on Tupac. This was during the East Coast versus West Coast rap feud. He amassed his fortune through record deals, his music label Bad Boy Records, production, fashion, and most notably his investment in Ciroc, the vodka company, which paid him nearly $60 million a year up until they cut ties. For years, talk about Diddy being the Antichrist was apparently common, but no one could really do anything as this man operated above the law with the amount of power and influence he had.
I've had to turn down $50 million 4 times. 4 times. Just to protect my integrity and that virgin hole I was telling you about. Right. Because P. Diddy be wanting to party. And you gotta tell him no. You got to tell him no. I did. I did. See, I got the receipts for everything I'm telling you. That's why I can say them so freely.
Kid, I need to know.
Over the past few years, he's maintained this untouchable mob boss persona until recently when the lawsuits started piling on. The spark that lit the fuse of this entire investigation was his former partner and victim, Cassie, filing a lawsuit against him on November 16th, 2023, which then gave confidence in other people to come forward as well. As if P. Diddy was expecting it, they settled one day after she filed the lawsuit, which probably indicates an insane payout. However, the story went nuclear when a video from 2016 was leaked featuring Diddy attacking Cassie in a hotel. But in response to that incident, he said, "I take full responsibility for my actions in that video. I am disgusted. I was disgusted then when I did it. I'm disgusted now." Yeah, Diddy, accountability is not going to save you now. In February of this year, Rodney Jones, otherwise known as Little Rod, one of P. Diddy's former music producers, filed a sexual assault case against him as well. He stated that he was basically groomed and forced to participate in illegal activity. He also claimed that P. Diddy would have underage sex parties and participate in human trafficking. And this is important because it corroborates the most recent developments in the probe. It was also around this time when people started to hypothesize that fellow rapper Meek Mill was one of P. Diddy's victims.
King son, man, you doing it, man. You deserve it, daddy. You putting in that work. Proud of you. I love you. Yeah.
And this led to some rather strange defensive maneuvers from Meek Mill. "When I got a girl around me, I'm fucking her twice a day. LOL. Ask some of your favorites. Pussy don't control me, but it's like a high. One love to the gay people, but that juicy pussy do it for me. I done ran red lights to get that feeling. Y'all weird on here like devils. LOL. It's just giving 40-year-old virgin boobs feel like sand, if you know what I mean. I have the right to say I ain't gay and I'll trash anybody that play with my manhood. LOL. To me, it's really sad because if he is a victim, he's more concerned about being perceived as gay than the actual abuse he may or may not have suffered. We see this a lot in hyper-masculine, especially black culture, where being gay is seen as beta or low T. There are also rumors of Justin Bieber having an undisclosed history with P. Diddy, considering their business relationship throughout the years. Take this with a grain of salt, as hindsight is 2020, as we're now looking at these clips with the context that P. Diddy is a monster. These could be innocent videos, but they could also indicate something's incredibly off.
So check this out, yo. Justin, you ever seen the movie 48 Hours? Right now, he's having 48 hours with Diddy, him and his boy. They're having the times of their lives, like, you know, where we hanging out and what we doing. We can't really disclose, but it's definitely a 15-year-old's dream. You know, I have been given custody of him. You know, he signed to Usher.
I'm signed to Usher.
I had legal guardianship of Usher when you know he did his first album. I did Usher's first album. I don't have legal guardianship of him, but for the next 48 hours, he's with me. So and we gonna go full crazy.
Five Nights at Freddy's, more like Five Nights at Diddy's. It's just odd seeing a full-grown man and a literal child talking about this stuff. Like, who knows the horrors that went on? Some people believe Diddy is checking Justin Bieber for a wire in this clip, and it sure does seem like it. About 1 month after Lil Rod came out against Diddy, in March of this year, P. Diddy's home was raided by federal agents. For the last few months, it was alleged that Puff Daddy was an international fugitive, flying around in his private jet, trying to evade the law. His legal team then asserted that he voluntarily relocated to New York in anticipation of the charges against him. On Tuesday, the diddler was denied bail for his sex trafficking and racketeering charges. His lawyer stated,
So this was the first step. We have a bail appeal scheduled for tomorrow at 3:30 in front of Judge Carter, the district judge assigned to this case. I think that we made the points that we've been wanting to make. I think he came out. Mr. Combs is a fighter. He's going to fight this to the end. He's innocent. He came to New York to establish his innocence. He's not afraid. He's not afraid of the charges. There's nothing that the government said in their presentation today that changes anyone's mind about anything. He's been looking forward to this day. He's been looking forward to clearing his name, and he's going to clear his name. And we're going to stand by his side as he does. We believe in him wholeheartedly. He didn't do these things. This was a 10-year relationship. There's no coercion. There's no crime. There's basically just, someone who brought a civil case and now is finding themselves as a witness in a criminal case. And we're going to fight this case with everything we have, as is he. And eventually he's going to be shown to be innocent. And so tomorrow we fight again. And we'll fight every day until we don't have to fight anymore.
He also claims that Diddy has been cooperating and has nothing to hide, but details of the indictment suggest otherwise. Sean Diddy Combs is a music icon, self-made entrepreneur, loving family man, and proven philanthropist who has spent the last 30 years building an empire, adoring his children, and working to uplift the black community. He is an imperfect person, but is not criminal. Let's establish one thing. Homeland Security does not fuck around. They are responsible for transnational crime syndicates. There are 10 lawsuits against him, 9 for sexual assault, and they're all pretty goddamn similar. It doesn't stop with Diddy though. His son is also accused of potentially drugging a woman, then assaulting her while on their yacht. According to the indictment, it's crystal clear we're potentially dealing with another Epstein. The indictment describes Combs as the head of a criminal enterprise that engaged or attempted to engage in sex trafficking, forced labor, interstate transportation for purposes of prostitution, drug offenses, kidnapping, arson, bribery, and obstruction of justice. Personally, I find it funny how they casually threw in arson, because this man is a Gotham villain, as we're about to learn. In one incident described in the court papers, Mrs. Ventura, or Cassie, says that in early 2012, Mr. Combs grew so angry about her dating the rapper Kid Cudi that he said he would blow up the rapper's car. Around that time, the suit says, Kid Cudi's car exploded in his driveway. Through a spokeswoman, Kid Cudi confirmed Miss Ventura's account. This is all true, he said. Let me reiterate, in Cassie's case against Diddy, she detailed how P. Diddy tried to firebomb Kid Cudi.
Today I'm announcing the unsealing of a 3-count indictment, charging Sean Combs with racketeering conspiracy, sex trafficking, interstate transportation for prostitution. As alleged, Combs used force, threats of force, and coercion to cause victims to engage in extended sexual performances with male commercial sex workers, some of whom he transported or caused to be transported over state lines. Combs allegedly planned and controlled the sex performances, which he called freak-offs, and he often electronically recorded them. The freak-offs sometimes lasted days at a time, involved multiple commercial sex workers, and often involved a variety of narcotics, such as ketamine, ecstasy, and GHB. which Combs distributed to the victims to keep them obedient and compliant. A year ago, Sean Combs stood in Times Square and was handed a key to New York City. Today, he's been indicted and will face justice in the Southern District of New York.
Combs and his associates wielded his power and prestige to intimidate and lure women into his orbit, often under the pretense of a romantic relationship. Let me just establish something. Calling them freak-offs, although true, is a bit of an understatement because what seems to be the case is just they were offs.
Okay, now we need alcohols.
Right.
Alcohols.
Right. Not just one alcohol.
Alcohols.
Right, just different
Plurals.
blend. You need the
Blends.
ladies, you need the booze.
You need some water.
For watering plants?
No.
What?
No, I don't know if guys have noticed this. Like, a lot of ladies drink water at parties. They
Right.
just, so you have, if you don't have what they need, they're gonna leave.
Right.
Gotta
right.
keep them there.
Right.
You need locks on the doors.
Okay, this is sounding kind of dangerous now.
It's a little kinky, but
Yeah.
rock with me. But just
Right.
check it out. You need a lot of heat. A lot of
Heat.
heat. Yeah.
Heat. You mean that physically the place has to be hot?
You don't have no air conditioning.
No air conditioning.
No.
Why is that?
Heat affects the alcohol, and it also affects, like, everybody gets a little bit more comfortable and loose. Builds up a nice little sweat.
That just sounds disgusting. What are you talking?
Depends on the way you look at it.
Depends. Oh, people
Yeah.
start getting gets kind of sexy. Is that what you're
Yeah.
saying?
The diddler would fly in prostitutes, sex workers, and everyone in between, have staff accommodate them in hotels, and provide a sex armory of lube and drugs. These freak-offs would last days on end, and the victims would then receive IV fluids to recover. Roman bacchanals of the highest degree, cataclysmic levels of hedonism and degeneracy. During the searches of Combs's homes earlier this year, law enforcement seized narcotics, videos of the performances, and more than 1,000 bottles of baby oil and lubricant. They said agents also seized firearms and ammunition, including 3 AR-15s with defaced serial numbers in his bedroom closet in Miami. 1,000 bottles of baby oil and lube? What the fuck? Is this guy just the devil incarnate? Sure as hell seems like it. His lawyer conveniently said that those were not his guns because he hires an outside security company. This goes without saying, but P. Diddy would then blackmail the women into staying silent. The indictment contains 3 counts. 1 is racketeering conspiracy, 2 is sex trafficking by force, fraud, and coercion, and 3 is transportation to engage in prostitution. I'm gonna read a few of the details that stood out. Freak-offs were elaborate and produced sex performances that Combs arranged, directed, masturbated during, and often electronically recorded. In arranging these freak-offs, Combs, with the assistance of members and associates of the Combs enterprise, transported and caused to be transported commercial sex workers across state lines and internationally. Freak-offs occurred regularly, sometimes lasted multiple days, and often involved multiple commercial sex workers. During freak-offs, Combs distributed a variety of controlled substances to victims, in part to keep the victims obedient and compliant. Sometimes, unbeknownst to the victims, Combs kept the videos he filmed of victims engaging in sex acts with commercial sex workers. After freak-offs, Combs and the victims typically received IV fluids to recover from the physical exertion and drug use. Members and associates of the Combs enterprise, including high-ranking supervisors, security staff, household staff, personal assistants, and other Combs business employees, facilitated the freak-offs by, among other things, booking hotel rooms for the freak-offs, stocking the hotel rooms in advance with the required freak-off supplies, including controlled substances, baby oil, lubricant, extra linens, and lighting, cleaning the hotel rooms after the freak-offs to try to mitigate room damage, arranging for travel for the victims, commercial sex workers, and Combs to and from the freak-offs, resupplying Combs with requested supplies, delivering large sums of cash to Combs to pay the commercial sex workers, and scheduling the delivery of IV fluids. In or about March 2024, during searches of Combs' residence in Miami, Florida, and Los Angeles, California, law enforcement seized various freak-off supplies, including narcotics and more than 1,000 bottles of baby oil and lube. The indictment goes on, but despite all of this, P. Diddy pled not guilty. On Wednesday, there was an appeal hearing in which the following conversation included Epstein and Maxwell, as if there's overlap between the cases. Judge, can you get to the point? Agnifilo, who's the lawyer, it shows he's trustworthy. He's not a defendant who says, "Come find me." In Maxwell and Epstein, and then the judge cuts him off. How does that relate to danger and obstruction? If he was aware in April, why was he contacting witnesses? And they go back and forth about the potentiality of Diddy staying at home, but the judge was not having it. At the appeal hearing, Diddy was denied bail because the judge thinks he is a flight risk, which is probably a correct assumption, as well as a danger to others. Right now, he's being held at MDC, or Metropolitan Detention Center, which is where R. Kelly and Ghislaine Maxwell were once held, which is one of the first layers of hell where he will be awaiting his trial. Let me know if you prefer the informational videos or the more laid-back ones. I'll probably do both to stimulate all three of my eyes, but I figured I'd ask anyway. Subscribe to this channel if you haven't, trying to Tokyo drift to 1 million subs. Subscribe to the second channel, Philion Live, if you want daily content, and I'm out.